Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we are going to be looking at Humming Along again because I really love the images on this. And I particularly love the flower and the leaves. So we're going to work with that one today. And we're also going to work with a celebration stamp set, which is completely free at the moment for a £45 order, and it's free till the 31st of March or while stocks last. And I love the sentiments in this. We've got let's get together and giggle, the world needs more people like you, know that today a friend is thinking of you, you're my chosen family, all sorts of lovely things. And as I say, you can never have enough sentiments for different things. So I thought that this was absolutely lovely as well. So we are going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which measures 5¼ inches by 3½ inches. And we need 2 for this particular project, but we're going to start with 1. And we are going to take this stamp set, and we're going to take the big flower, and let's just pop that on a block. Let's put it about like that. And then we're going to ink it up. And this is very much about fairly sort of random stamping, because what we're doing is we're creating a background. So we're just going to, let's put, shall we put one with everything in it? Yes, I think we will. So we're just going to put the first one literally straight across like that. And then we are going to, as I say, it's very much random stamping this. So we're going to have one which is going to come up on this side at about that sort of angle. We're going to have another one which will come up at about that sort of angle, just sort of filling in those spaces on there. And we'll put another one in down on the bottom. And then I'm just going to take just the little bit of this and just, sorry, I don't want to get my head in the way, and my lights are very bright, so it's difficult for me to see. We'll have one in there, and we'll put another one in on there, like that. And then we'll just take the last little piece and just put that in there like that. Okay, so what we've done is we've literally filled the card with the stamping, and that's what we want to do. You can do this with any set you want, because what we're doing is we're creating a background. Then it's down to colouring it. So you can colour it in whatever medium you want. So you can choose our blends. There's lots of colours to choose from in the blends. You can choose inks and an aqua painter or a blender. You can choose our watercolour pencils. And basically what you're going to do is to just colour it through. So I'm not going to show you all of that because it will take far too long. But I am probably, what can I do that's going to be quite quick on this? No, I'm going to show you another one which I did earlier on. It's a great way if you're wanting to do some blends and some colouring and things like that to get your practice in, because you're just going to be random stamping, and then you can use lots of different colours and things for this. So let me show you one that I was playing around with and practicing on earlier on, which is this one. And this, I have taken the leaf, and I just wanted to colour it in various different blends. So we've got the Bermuda Bay Light and Dark, we've got the mint macaron, light and dark. We've got the balmy blue, light and dark. We've got the daffodil delight, light and dark. I then just randomly stamped some little flowers on the back, which is from the ribbon of courage. And the bottom ones are in the Highland Heather. The middle ones are in, it's a retired one now actually, but it's the darker of the pinks, which was the pink pirouette. And then the light ones at the top are the powder pink, light and dark. And as I say, I was just playing around with colours. So you can do exactly the same with this and just colour it in how you want. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut this up a bit, because what I want to do is I want to put the sentiment down in the bottom. So let me just think which sentiment we're going to use. I think happy, I've taken the happy from the lovely new Well Said, and which is the bundle which has the die cuts and things in, and I've just done a happy on this one, and I always do it twice, so I do it with a scrap of heavy whisper white, and I've done this in a blue. So happy, you're my chosen family. I think that will work perfectly. So what we need to do is we need to get that out so we can just see the size. You're my chosen family. Okay, so this is one I haven't used yet. So let's just take the backing off. I'm not going to mount it at the moment, but we're going to want that about that sort of size at the bottom. So I'm going to take the trimmer out, and I want to create a space at the bottom of this piece to put that in. So let me just make sure that my trimmer is in shot. Yes, it is. Good. Okay. And we need to take a piece which is going to be, let's just put that in. So I would say it needs to be, let's take it an inch, shall we? Okay, so we're going to take half an inch off of the bottom. So let's take half an inch off. We want it to be there. So we'll take, no, we're going to take an inch from the bottom, I think. Do we want it that, or we want it a bit bigger, I think. Okay, let's take it to, turn it round so we see. Let me have a look and see which is my top and my bottom. That's my bottom because that's the light on it, so I want it that way round. So we're going to take 2 inches. 2 inches off the bottom. Is that going to be too high up? No, I think 2 inches will be fine. Okay, so we're going to take 2 inches off the bottom, like that. And then we need, we want it lower, so we're then going to take half an inch off. Let's start with that and see. It's a matter of sort of fiddling around with the size to see how you want it cut. So I'm going to take half an inch off and see if that's going to work. Okay, so let's see on that. I think that that will work fine. Let me just put this on here, which is the second piece, which is exactly the same size. Measure that up at the bottom. And no, I'm going to need a little bit more because I want that to go on there. So we're going to take another, off the top piece here, we're going to take another half inch off of the top. Half an inch, maybe just, let's try 1/4 of an inch, shall we? Okay, so that would then be, just take a little bit more off. We can do it sliver by sliver. So let's have a look at this and we'll work that one out. So we're going to have that at the top and we're going to have that at the bottom. And then that will, yes, that will fit in perfectly. So that was, let me just make sure that we've got that size on there. I will measure it again, but I think that that is... It's 1.25 inches on this one. So we want 1.25 inches on there. So I'm going to put this piece out of the way here because I don't want that piece on there. So let's move that there. And then this piece we're going to cut in half. So let's have a look. This is 3.5. So we want it to be half of 3 is 1.5, 1 3/4. So 1 3/4 will take it in half. So let's do it that way first. 1 3/4. Like this. I'm at a bit of an angle because of where my light is above me. So, okay, so that's going to be in half like that. Okay, then off of each piece, so off of this piece, we want to take... let's just take 1/4 inch, like that. No, I'm going to take it less. I'm going to take it just 1/8 inch, like that. So we've got a little sliver piece there. And then on the other side, I need to flip it round so I make sure I'm on the right one. We're going to take the same amount out on there. Like that. Now I'm going to keep these little pieces because I might actually put some of them back in. But that's basically what we need to do on here. So we've just cut it down a bit. You can cut it in any angle you want. But then... we need to put these pieces on. So there's me having twizzled them around all over the place. So let's make sure that we've still got them where we want. That's the piece that goes on the bottom. It's a bit like putting a jigsaw puzzle together again. That would be the piece that was on here, was it? Yes, it would have been the top of there. So that's going to go there, like that, I think. And this one is going to be on that side. That doesn't look quite right, does it? Let's do it that way. So I think that was on the bottom, like that. That's better. That was the one that went that way. Or was it that way? Oh, I don't know now that I've twizzled them all about. What you need to do is to keep them all in the same place. But let's see if we can put our pieces back in and then we can find out where it is. So this one would have been on top of there, wouldn't it? Yes. Okay, this one would have been there. So that is correct on that piece. And then this one would have been the other way up because that's the top of that one. Right, now we know where we are. Okay, so... we want to put this on there and we want to put that on there. So let's take some wet glue. Suggestion, keep your pieces where you need them to be because then it will make it a little bit easier. So we'll take this piece on first and we'll just put some wet glue around on the bottom. And we'll pop this one down here. We want it to go exactly onto the bottom like that, and we want it to be as straight as we can. I'm just going to move this off of here just to make sure that I've got that lined up and straight. Yes, I have. Then we want this piece up in that corner. So we're going to put that one up there. Line it up with your edge the best you can. Sure that one's straight. And then we'll take this one. Put some wet glue along here. And we'll put this down on that side. Like that, and have that as equal as we want. Now, what we can do is we can put one of these little strips back in. So that's the little strip that would go in there, like that. And I think that that will actually work quite nicely. So I am going to put that little strip in the centre. You can put any one of the strips back in on the top piece, or not, depending on your spacing. And it's the sort of thing that you sort of discover as you go. Now, have I got that the right way round now? No, I haven't, have I? It was this way. Okay, so we're going to take that and try and get the space equal. Like that. Get that in the top. So I'm going to pick it up so I can see that I've got my little space equally in there. But that creates quite a nice sort of little pattern. So we now need to put our sentiment in on here, because that's going to go completely so that it's in there. Now, to do this, we're going to get the Stamparatus out, because what you don't want is to spoil what you've already started. So let me get my Stamparatus out. That down on there, and to put the card in like this, so I've got it lined up against the small grid paper is fantastic, because you can line it exactly up against the side and you know where you've got it, and it's going to go exactly where you want. Now we want this the right way around. You're my chosen family, right, that way. So we're going to put this and line it up where we want in the centre, or as near to the centre as we can get it. So I think that's about right. Says me. I'm going to stick my head right over the top so I can actually see. Yes, that's about, whoops, says me wobbling the thing. Okay, that's about right. So we're just going to pick that up like that. And then we're going to ink it up. I've got the happy in blue, so I want to take a blue in there, and I'm going to choose, this is actually a retired one, but it's the one that I had out, so I'm choosing this. Any colour that you want, you can use. This is actually one of the last ink colours, which was Dapper Denim, but I just actually wanted that blue. And then we're just going to put that in on here, pick it up. And the nice thing is that you can do it a couple of times, which is why putting it on the Stamparatus is the best idea, because it means you can get the intensity of colour that you want. So let's press that down carefully, and that looks absolutely lovely. So we're going to take that out carefully now. Use the Simply Chamois to clean this one up. Like that. The Simply Chamois is absolutely perfect for this, and I must admit I am using it more and more. Let's take that one off, and then we can put that back in. We don't need the Stamparatus again, but it means that you've got that perfect line up on there. Let me just put this stamp back in its case. Always get into the habit of putting all my stamps back in their cases as I go, because it's quite easy to, if you're crafting with a few different stamp sets, by the time you've finished, you end up with them not remembering which one they go with. Okay, so we now have that in there. I've got the happy to go on the top here, so I'm just going to glue that in. Oops. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a couple of others that I did. Now, I use my wet glue, as I've said before, because it's quite easy to just go round these little die cuts, and the wet glue works perfectly. You can use whatever you want. You can use our self-adhesive sheets. But wet glue works really well. Let's get that round into those little pieces. Like that. Pop my lid back on. And then we want the happy to just come down in the centre. Like that. So I think about there will work. There we are, just press that down. So that comes in over the top. And then I would put it on a blue card base. Let me have a look and see if I've got a blue out in here. I don't know whether I have got the right colour, but let me just have a quick little look and see. I always have all of my pieces sort of set up in here. So let me see if I've got one which is about the right size. Probably not completely, but we might be able to cut it down. So let's have a look and see. Now that's too small, but it gives you an idea of the background that I would put it on. No, that'll work. Okay, so let me just cut that down. So we need this to be cut at 1/4 of an inch higher. So we'll have that at, it's got to be 5.5 by 5.5. Is that a 5.5? Yeah, that's 5.5. So we just need this at 3 3/4. So take that down on there. Cut that out. Okay. So that will then give us the mat. So you just tone up the mat to go with it. And you can see now it's starting to turn into a really lovely card. Let me just take that piece of scrap out of the way so you can see. But I think that that's rather fun. And let me show you a couple of others that I've done with exactly the same thing. Again, I haven't mounted these ones. I've just... I did this one with, let's get that back on here. As I say, I'm not going to stick it all down now because I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it afterwards to send it. But that sort of one. This was another one that I did, which was the flower that we started. And again, I just did them in all different colours. And I did that with the know that a friend is thinking of you today and the hooray. So that looks quite nice together as well on that one. And then I did one, you can do them with designer series paper. And so this one, I just did it with the botanical butterflies. And I've got friend, you mean the world to me. The sentiment was a little small and I didn't quite like the gap and I didn't cut it down in the centre. But excuse me, it just gives you another idea of doing this. This was actually put up with fun foam, which was an idea from Jennifer Maguire, who does lots of different things with fun foam. But I didn't actually like that sort of complete thickness of it. I quite liked it to be just sort of laid out in one layer. But I thought it was a fun way of using some of the images that we create and just chopping them down a bit and adding the sentiment in the centre. So I hope you enjoyed it today and do look forward to seeing you again. Bye-bye.